this is going to be a really incredible panel to end the baby show. I'm excited for it. So as you guys know, we have Jamie Grayson and Sherry Crisso to talk about breastfeeding, and they're going to answer all your Q&As and all your cool questions. I'm Rory Halpern. I'm the editor-in-chief of Mommy Nearest. If you guys don't know about us, we're a cool app and website that gives you information on the closest things to do with your family, no matter where you are in the country. We're so excited to be here with Sherry and Jamie. Jamie's the baby guy. He knows baby gear guy. Is that your official name?
The baby guy.
Baby guy.
Yeah,
he knows everything that you should know about baby products.
That's called breastfeeding Q&A.
And that's our last one.
Good job. Good job, Eric.
And Sherry is a former midwife, nurse, lactation consultant. She works with Even Flow. She's basically the person you want to talk to about breastfeeding and any new mom problems, challenges, etc. So I'm really excited to hear what they have to say. I know you guys are too. Take it away.
Hi.
Thank you.
I'll let Sherry introduce herself, just because why not? Go for it.
Hi everyone. Everybody stay awake. It's the last one of the day. We are here. We're excited to see you guys. And this is something we do every month together. And it's such a good combination. As she was saying, you know, Jamie knows so much and such a wealth of knowledge. And then when we add together our experience, I can tell you a little bit about myself. I've been working with new and expectant parents for 25 years. I was a labor and delivery nurse. I was a certified nurse midwife with my own practice. I delivered 600 babies in my practice before I had a retail store for 12 years where I sold all these products, so I know lots of stuff about that too, and taught classes, and I'm an international board certified lactation consultant. Pretty much have all the different aspects that I can talk to you about with when it comes to having your baby, preconceptually through the first few years. And I just love doing these Q&As because you guys have a lot of questions. And I hope you brought them today because this is your opportunity.
We need questions to make this work because we don't have a topic.
Yeah, it's open.
So any questions you have about breastfeeding, pumps, etc., sparkly hat, go.
Hi.
Hi.
I have she's about to be 2 in June.
Yes.
And she still breastfeeds.
Great.
I want to know, is there any way to wean them off or is just naturally to let them stop?
Is there any way to wean them off?
Yeah, of breastfeeding. Because I don't pump, I don't nothing. She's just straight breastfeed. She doesn't know what a bottle is. She doesn't like bottles.
What do you want to do?
I love breastfeeding.
Yeah.
But now I like work, so when she's at home, she's really fussy because she doesn't drink any other milk except my breast milk.
Yeah.
So I want to like introduce her to milk, but she doesn't like nothing.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know like.
I feel you right now.
We're
But
with you.
trust me, you're my spirit animal. It depends on what you want to do. I mean, if you want to wean her or like let it take its course naturally, or
How do you do it? Is that
healthier, a healthy.
way.
She wants a healthy way.
Well, what I would say is the most important thing is to do it slowly. You don't want to do it overnight. Okay, so weaning is usually naturally just a gradual thing. So if you think about the times that you're feeding her, you're probably 4 times a day. Is that right? Now, how did I know that? I just did. So 4 times a day. You want to start cutting out the ones where are probably the least that needed. Probably right before she goes to sleep, and when she first wakes up in the morning, are probably going to be the ones that you'll want to keep the longest. Those will be the hardest to end, and probably even for you, you're probably enjoying those more than, and they help, right? So during the daytimes are you can start cutting out one feeding at a time. At that age, it's actually a lot easier. She's eating a lot of alternative solid foods. You can just substitute that. You can, if you have any milk, what? With a side of milk. Will she drink it in a cup? She won't drink it in a cup.
Really?
I think that if you could start giving her cups, just start putting some of the breast milk in a cup. Try to get her used to drinking a little bit from a cup so that she can start drinking some water. She can drink breast milk. And really, she doesn't need to drink cow's milk at all. And so this is a whole other conversation that we can get into another time.
We've gotten into it on Facebook because we had glasses of wine and we got opinions.
We just have a lot of opinions, but cow's milk's not where I would go with it. We'll talk about that on a live show one coming up.
Yeah.
All right. But the answer is slowly and at your pace and hers.
Of course. Strong work. Next.
Come
I have a
on.
question about pumping and going back to work.
Yes.
So, what is your suggestion on the process of pumping more when you suddenly have to go back to work full time from being off full time, and getting him used to the bottle? He takes it a couple times a day, but how often do you suggest pumping at work for like an 8-hour workday?
Yeah. Typically the pump will get out less than the baby, but you do have to stick with your work schedule too. It's a hard challenge to figure that out. I would say within an 8-hour workday, you want to pump at least 3 times while you're there. 3 is going to make it easier for not only to get enough milk to leave for the next day for while he's not with you, but also to keep your breast continuing to express and produce so that you don't run the challenge of decreased milk supply from going too long stretches. 3 times a day. If you have a good pump that's going to be efficient, the right size flanges, the good independent speed and suction controls, you get to know how to use your pump, and I don't recommend doing that when you're back at work. You should be practicing now. She's cringing because everybody doesn't want to practice before. It's leave it to the last minute, but I really, really recommend don't do that. One question I'll get into for a moment that might just be a little bit of an offset of what you're asking that people might want to know is getting ready to go back. How far in advance should you start pumping and saving that milk? I wouldn't wait till the last minute for that. You want to start calculating how much do you need for that first day back. So for example, a baby would probably eat about 3 to 4 ounces at a feeding. If we're going to do 3 feedings in a day, you're talking 9 to 12 ounces to be on the safe side, 12 ounces for that first day back. Try to get that over the course of a 2-week period where you're just pumping an extra ounce a day in addition to what you're feeding, plus whatever you're going to store for the freezer. The farther back you start, doing 1 ounce or 2 ounces extra to the breastfeedings a day, you'll have all the milk you need for your first day back, plus an extra maybe 8 to 10 feedings in the freezer for emergency. Did that answer your question? Yeah. Good. There's a question here, right here.
Hi, I was just wondering, at what age do they become more efficient? He's 8 weeks and he's off still. Falls asleep within 2 or 3 minutes.
He's efficient.
But then if I put him down, he's still hungry.
How do you know he's still hungry?
Because he wakes up screaming with his hands.
And then when you put it back to the breast, does he fall back asleep again?
Yes.
Yeah, he's not hungry. So a hungry baby will continue to eat. When he falls asleep, so the feedings, what she's asking is an awesome question, okay? So in the beginning, the feedings they take a long time. The feeding could take a half an hour, 40 minutes, because the baby's slow, falls asleep, eats some more. That's a newborn. By the time the baby's 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks old, they become more efficient, is what she's describing. What that means is the feedings actually go much quicker. It could be 5-6 minutes and the whole feeding's done. They actually got all the milk they needed, and most moms will say, something's wrong. I'm not making enough. The baby's not eating enough. I keep putting the baby back to breast. Baby falls asleep. How old's your baby? Okay, at 8 weeks, if he was still hungry, you would know because he'd be sucking hard and crying and screaming and not getting what he wants. He's going back to the breast because he's comforting at the breast. The feeding's finished, and he's faking you out and saying, Mama, put me back. But they won't go back to sleep. And that's a great way to know. Right? But he is efficient, and that's the best part.
How then do I stop him from doing that? Because it's constant, all day long, at night, during the day, doesn't matter.
He wants to suck. So can I answer? I know we keep.
I don't care talk.
I'll take
I'm not an IBCLC. That's why we have you.
I will keep taking.
Go.
So, I realize I'm tired. Babies love to suck, okay? Sucking is a reflex for a baby. And thank God, it's a life-sustaining reflex. Imagine if you had to teach them how to suck. They want to suck and they need to do it. But sucking is not only for eating. Sucking is to comfort themselves. It's just something they want to do. And there are basically 3 things they can suck on, right? They can suck on your breast, they can suck on your finger, and they can suck on a pacifier. So some babies really have a very strong need to suck, and to try to squash that need to suck, it's not going to work. They're going to cry. So my recommendation is either your finger or pacifier. Now, Your nipple and your finger are attached to your body, and the pacifier's not, so you may want to try a pacifier. Pacifiers will not interfere with breastfeeding, especially at this point. He knows where the milk's coming from, and when he's hungry, he's going to want the real thing. Don't worry. Pacifier. Maybe some swaddling, maybe some he wants to be held. Imagine when you're breastfeeding, you're holding your baby tight, they're sucking, they're comforted. He wants to feel like that, even though he's done eating. I like the soothies.
Yeah, I really like Nacho Student as well. They're great. They have a couple different styles. One's like the ortho, one's the rounded. But in terms of cleaning, they're a very, very, very easy pacifier to clean. You're not dealing with like the plastic and then the silicone thing that comes up and gets gunky, and you have to deal with like keeping it clean. The Nacho Student is one piece. So I'm a huge fan of those.
I don't really like the orthodontic.
The one that looks like a thumb.
The thumbs, yeah, no. More of a straight nipple.
Yeah, of course.
Hi,
Howdy.
I'm Alicia. I have two little boys, 2.5 and almost 2.5 and 9 months old. They're both breastfeeding. With my first one, I didn't have this problem. It was actually still nursing. He bites down and he has teeth. And he, also today, literally after he bit, I saw little marks on my nipple, like he almost bit it off.
Stinker.
My question is, in general, like with this age, he's 9 months. From what my sister and my mother have told me, is just take him off, finish, done.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if there's any other suggestions. Sometimes I know he's hungry, but he might bite. Like
This comes up a lot.
It's my favorite
when
question
we do
to
Q&As. When she says it's her favorite, she's always like, "Do not answer questions about biting," because it comes up all the time, and there's actually no real like.
It's a hard question because it hurts, right? And it's hard to teach a 9-month-old to not do it. There are a few answers.
Yeah.
I can't get him to stop completely. That's why I don't like answering the question. But there are a few tips I can give you. Okay. One is, the closer you hold him to your breast, the harder it is for him to clamp his mouth down. So the reflex or the instinct would be, it starts to bite, you pull away. That's going to pull him to the tip of the nipple, and then he'll bite down.
You get niplash is what it's called. No lie, it's called niplash.
So, the instinct is to pull back.
actually, before he was in the carrier on me on my way here, and I obviously cannot pull him away, so he really got a good bite.
And he might just be at a stage right now where he's doing that, and then you might want to be more in control of the feedings right now, so that just letting him just do his thing may not be the answer, because he could really hurt you at this point. So what I would say is be a little more in control of the feedings, bring him closer if he starts to bite down. Hold him close. He has to keep his mouth open when he's close to the breast. As you start to see that the feeding's starting to finish and he's just lingering, take him off. Okay? Get your finger in between his gums so that he can't clamp down like that. And sometimes just kind of,
by now.
yeah, he's got teeth. My second had teeth at 4 months old, so you got a 4-month-old with teeth, so it can happen. The thing is, you want to hold them. What?
You're getting a big reaction online.
Okay. We're actually streaming this live on my Facebook page in case people were curious.
There's like lots of people watching this right now, and they all have the same questions. Yeah.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
No, I think it's a good idea to bring him closer.
Bring him closer. Imagine his face is closer, his mouth is open, the jaw can't close when the hide is closed. So you pull him in. As he's starting to clamp, you pull him in rather than pulling him back.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't even go for 2 days.
Nope. We had no biting questions yesterday.
I knew it was coming today.
We knew I was working.
Hi.
So I'm having twins in August.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
And I'm planning to breastfeed, but so 2-part question. First, I'm a little bit nervous about whether or not I'll be able to produce enough milk for twins. And then second, I ideally want to be as efficient as possible and feed them both at the same time. And so I'm curious if you guys have any tips or like historical experience? you can share?
My sister, Tandem, she breastfed twins at the same time. I would say there are giant, like the My Breast Friend double pillow is great. It has good back support. It is about as big as this table. Like, it's pretty large. So if you're sitting in like a Dutalier or something, or like a glider, it doesn't really fit. She found using that pillow worked better if she was sitting on the couch or on the floor against a wall or something, or the edge of the couch. But it's, in terms of like product-y stuff for nursing twins, you don't really need one of those. Just like 2 good pillows or a comfortable chair will be
What
fine.
about
But
the literally like my ability?
I'm gonna
Yeah.
answer your question about milk supply and
Yeah.
your concern over can I feed 2 babies. So let me say this. One breast can feed one baby exclusively, and many moms, me included with my first, fed my baby exclusively with one side. You do, that's why you have 2. You have a spare, okay? So you can absolutely make enough milk for 2 babies, and I have so many clients of my own who have exclusively breastfed twins for an entire year and longer. Okay, so this is very, very doable. Has nothing to do with the size of your breasts, has nothing to do even with your family history. So I don't even want to know about your mom, your sister, whatever. Nothing. You start from scratch and you go for it. The thing about making enough milk is really going to be more about supply and demand, so that you're feeding your babies efficiently. And how I usually teach with breastfeeding twins is that I start everybody off the same. I have a class called Simply Breastfeeding. It's an online breastfeeding class that it's me teaching the class. Like, I'm literally sitting there like if you were sitting in my classroom. And with my twin moms, I have them starting off just like if you had one, feeding one baby at a time. And that's because in the beginning with a newborn, it's really important to get the latch good so you can hear the baby swallowing. It actually takes less time if you focus. And so tandem feeding them in the first week or 2 it's not for everybody in the beginning. I would say you'll go faster if you feed one, hand that baby off, feed the other, and hand that baby off. Within a week or 2, you're going to get the hang of it, and then you can latch them both at the same time. And like Jamie said, twin pillow is going to be great for that, because you're going to need something that will hold their weight while you're messing with one and holding the other. And so the twin pillow will work, but in the beginning, I would do them separately, like in the hospital, and for the first week after delivery.
Okay, that's good. That's good advice. My last part of my question is there anything that I can do to produce more milk?
Yes, get very educated before these babies come. If you wait till you deliver, okay, and then you try to figure this all out, like how much are they supposed to eat, how much are they supposed to lose, what's normal, what's not, like if you try to figure that out in your first week after coming home with twins, you're going to have a problem, because there's a lot to know.
Yeah.
Now's your time. You're getting prepared. Just like you're doing your registry, you're picking out all your products. The number one thing you could do to help yourself beyond all this stuff that you're seeing here is learn what you need to know about the stuff that I'm even mentioning. If you're sitting here going, yeah, I don't know, like how much does a baby eat on the first day?
Yeah.
Then you need to know. So you take a class. And if you want to stay home and do that, like I said, I have excellent classes right on my website that you could take that you'll learn, and then you can follow up with me, because I do consultations, and I'm on with Jamie, and I'm on Facebook all the time.
And there are things you could do, like Mother Love makes a great thing called More Milk Plus, but you should only really use stuff like that if you have worked with an IBCLC to really find out if you have an actual supply issue, or if there's like lip, tongue tie, latch issues, whatever. Because if you start to use all of these supplements, which are great when they are actually needed, you can actually have serious oversupply issues, and you want to avoid that, because oversupply can lead to a lot of
other issues.
You want to assume that your body is growing 2 babies and knows what to do. You want to assume that it is not that the babies are going to come out and you will be able to feed them. That is just the normal continuation of what we're doing here. Many times moms do have some issues, but that's more rare as a genetic issue than caused by misinformation, misguidance, unnecessary supplementation in the beginning. Those things can actually lead to problems, but it wasn't there to start with.
Yeah.
So please educate yourself so that you're ready.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Yeah.
Hello. I have a 4.5-month-old, and I'm exclusively breastfeeding as well. I find that I have one side that produces much less milk than the other side. What can I do to pump up the other side that's lacking?
Nothing. Is it your right side that makes
It's
more?
my left side.
Okay.
My right side makes more.
Yes,
My left side makes more.
75% of women make more milk on their right side than their left side. And everybody pretty much has a more dominant side. Some it's more, you have a dominant breast, okay?
Yeah.
You can make twice as much on one side than on the other side. And there's nothing you can pump till the cows come home. It's not gonna make, no pun intended. But it's not gonna change anything. It's just a dominant side, and actually the right side, from the statistics I've seen, 75% of women have more milk on their right side than their left.
Okay.
But there's no reason to worry. What I usually say, if it's a really significant difference, consider the dominant side or the producing side as the meal.
Okay.
Okay? Consider the side that's making less as the appetizer or the dessert.
Okay.
So in other words, you can have a meal without eating appetizer or dessert, but you can't just do the dessert.
Okay. So give them that time.
Okay, so you're either starting with the appetizer and
Or
finishing with the meal,
Okay.
or starting with the meal and finishing with the dessert, but you're not just staying right there with dessert.
Okay. Okay.
Good?
Thank you.
All right. You like that analogy?
Yeah.
I've heard that if you want to pump, it's best to pump before and then feed the baby after. Like if you're trying to like get a little bit extra milk to pump for the next day or something.
Ladies and gentlemen,
So,
thank
I've
you
heard that
very
people
much
want
for
them to get
attending the
back-
2016 New York Baby Show. The baby show will officially be closing in 10 minutes. Please make
Oh,
your way to the
hey.
exits, and thank you for coming.
It all depends on what.
Attention exhibitors. If you need a porter to assist you with moving your items from your booth to your car, please come to the registration desk and request a porter once you have packed up your booth and are ready to go. Porters are requested on a first-come, first-served basis and can only be ordered once you are completely packed up. Thank you for participating in the 2016 New York Baby Show.
Because let me tell you, last night or yesterday afternoon, we ran a little over. And when I tell you, all the union workers started running in here and screaming at us. So at 4, it's like, drop my exit. I'm not doing that again.
Forgot your question.
Pumping before or after feedings to help get a little bit more milk for storage.
Okay. So if you want to, so say, are you talking about like, if you wanted to have an extra bottle because you're going to be going out and you just want to have a little bit of extra milk? Is that what you're
My
thinking?
question is actually about the back milk. Like if you're gonna pump after,
like
wouldn't
foremilk
you
and
get-
hind milk and what's?
Yeah.
Okay. So what she's describing is something called foremilk and hind milk, which, as the breast is very, very full, this is more of an issue like in the beginning when you first are engorged, when you first had the baby, or if you waited a really long time to go between feedings, which you shouldn't do. When the breast is very, very full, the milk that initially comes out is a little more watery and more like a skim milk. And then the fat is what's towards the back, like as you're emptying the breast. So what you're asking is, should you pump the foremilk or pump the hind milk?
Like if the baby's gonna get both anyway,
Yes.
if I'm pumping to give him tomorrow, or if I'm gonna
I
feed him
would-
right now and then pump to get the.
My answer is that I wouldn't worry about it if you're talking about little bits. I would say that it's easier to pump right before the feeding because it's harder the baby's really good at emptying the breast. You try to empty the breast after a feeding or pump after feeding, it could be more difficult. Pumping right at the beginning of the feeding, maybe an ounce, then feeding the baby and accumulating that over the day, that's going to be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Take the mic.
Is there a minimum amount of time for breastfeeding? Because for my job, it's hard to like balance like having time to like pump. So I just want to know if there's like, in case like, you know, I start producing less, like is there a minimum amount of time, like 6 months or?
In terms of how long you should breastfeed your child, I mean, when I went through all of my breastfeeding classes at the birth education center I worked at, the way that you kind of tell someone how long they're going to nurse is as long as it is mutually agreeable between mother and child. So there's no, you can nurse as long as you want,
One day will make a difference.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've had moms who have come to see me when I had my store who used to say, I decided I'm not going to breastfeed because I'm going back to work within 6 weeks. It's not worth it. And I said, if you just even express some colostrum on a spoon for the first 3 days and put it in your baby's mouth, that's still amazing. And so anything you do is going to be better than nothing. The other part to your question of like, it's hard for you to pump at work. A lot of people don't know that you can train your breast to only make milk when you want to make milk. Meaning, you can actually get to the point where you're just breastfeeding when you're home and you're not even producing during the day. So if you wanted to supplement with formula during the day, if that's what you're choosing to do, and then have that time at home where your baby's going to be away from you, so it's a great time to be able to bond with your baby. They're really going to want to be held and nursed. Plus, even if you're getting 2 or even 3 feedings of breast milk in a 24-hour period, they're getting all those benefits of the breast milk. So I would say don't look at it as an either or. See if you can and focus on the beginning of just exclusively breastfeeding. Make sure you're introducing the baby to a bottle early on. Within as soon as the baby is like latching good and everything's well, I say within the first week or 2. Don't wait a long time. You want your baby to take a bottle. And then if you really see that you're having a difficult time pumping at work, you can slowly start to wean and not make milk during the day, supplement with formula, and breastfeed when you're home. And then you get the best of whatever you need. Okay? But you don't have to give up altogether. It's not either or.
One more.
We can do one more question.
Hi.
What would you suggest are the best diapers and best formula to use?
The best diapers and the best formula? Do you want me to
Diapers, if you can try to make cloth work, go for cloth. My friend Kim runs a website called dirtydiaperlaundry.com, and she's like this hip little mom. She lives in Tampa. She has a room dedicated to the Golden Girls. She's wonderful. But she is 2 cloth diapers, what I have to all the other junk up here. I adore her. If you don't think you can go the cloth route, which try, there are nicer alternatives than like mass market disposables, but there is absolutely no such thing as a truly chemical-free, eco-friendly diaper. It's all garbage. There's no way at all to make a diaper.
Thank you for attending the 2016
If you go onto my website, I have an entire class on cloth diapering, a whole class. It's on mybabyexperts.com. mybabyexperts.com. I did an entire DVD program just on cloth diapering for people who have no knowledge of cloth diapering at all, from soup to nuts, about everything, including hybrids as well.
Yeah.
And you can learn the entire thing right there. My Baby Experts, plural. Okay? That is going to be my suggestion too. If there was one thing I could change, really, about my own children, I have a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old, and I breastfed, and I did all these things, and I tried to be as healthy as I could, make all the right choices. The one thing I didn't know was all the chemicals that are in diapers, and it's the one thing that comes in the closest contact with them for the longest period of time. They're wearing it 24 hours a day for 3, sometimes 4 years. I would really become knowledgeable. And it's also, like we were just talking about breastfeeding, even that is even less all or nothing. Even if you take just disposables when you go out and just cloth diapering at night, you're cutting their chemical exposure and toxin exposure by half or more over a long period of time. Some of these chemicals are pretty nasty.
Yeah.
So take the class, because you're going to be like, wow, like I'm going to go over all that stuff and then what to do. Okay? And even how to wash them. Like I go through the whole thing. And then you can go over and buy them from...
Well, she just reviews them. She doesn't buy them.
Okay, this is an actual class.
Her class is great. Kim is also a wonderful, wonderful resource. With formula, it's hairy. There are formulas that are organic, but now have lawsuits against them because they have 11 ingredients that are not allowed to be in organic products.
There's a lot of issues.
But I would say, like, we both kind of agree, like, avoid soy formulas.
Soy.
Like, how many birth control pills is it?
This soy formula has phytoestrogens in it. You think about like taking soy when women are menopausal. They take soy to increase their estrogen levels. It's the same thing with soy formula, and all the soy that's in there is also GMO. as well too. So soy can have an estrogenic effect. Some of the studies show that it's the equivalent of taking 5 birth control pills a day.
Yeah.
So I avoid soy altogether. The only organic formula that, and I'm not endorsing like any particular brand, but the one that's not being sued is Nature's One.
Yeah.
That's
And there's
the one.
another one now that is based with goat milk
I don't know the name
instead,
of
the goat protein, because that is easier to digest than a dairy-based protein. So I can't remember the name at all, but I would, if you need to use formula, I would definitely research the goat milk-based formula that's out there.
And Nature's One also, if you look at that, it's going to say toddler formula on it, but I've spoken to the company. It's not toddler formula, it's just the company recommends breastfeeding for the first year. So they label it as toddler formula, but formula's formula. You can use that from day one. Okay, and it does have all organic ingredients in it. It's not the companies that are being sued right now. Honest and Earth's Best are the ones that are, you got to just remember that formula is made with cow's milk, and it's all the ingredients that are in there. Same thing if you're not drinking organic milk yourself. If you drink organic milk, that's not what you're giving in the formula. So it's something that it's a good question.
Yeah.
You want to look at that and you want to think about it. And then the same, going right back to your question of is it good to do both? How long should I do it? These answer all those questions and give us reasons to continue and to learn so that we can make as much as we can and do the best we can.
Yeah. So I think we basically,
Ladies and gentlemen,
there we go.
Giveaways. Make sure you have a few prizes.
The show has now officially closed. Thank you for coming.
We can shut basically.